Can you feel it stirring beneath the grit and grind of Ford Field? Has Detroit's restless heart finally found its beat in the cold, calculated shuffle of this offseason? Could this be the pivot point, the move that fractures the endless cycle of hope and heartbreak that's haunted this franchise for years? Mash that like button and drop your belief in the comments if you're ready for the Lions to flip the script and throw the whole league into chaos. Insiders say a seismic shift is underway. Whispers are buzzing in every corner of the front office, and shockwaves are rippling through the locker room. A stealthy trade is brewing, one that could forever tilt the defensive balance for the Lions. Rumors have been swirling like leaves in a Detroit November gale, but if these whispers bear out, the NFC North and beyond will brace for impact. The name on everyone's lips? AJ Epenesa. That's right, the dependable edge rusher from Buffalo, suddenly in the heart of Motor City's defensive strategy after a trade sending DJ Reader packing to the Bills. This isn't just a footnote or a cap space maneuver. This is a strategic chess move with ramifications that stretch far beyond a simple roster tweak. Reader, once a fixture on the line, suddenly becomes expendable in a sea of rising talent. Tyleik Williams, Levi Onwuzurike, Roy Lopez, and returning Alan McNeil, all sharpening blades in the trenches. The Lions face a brutal truth, readers. Snap share was barely half last season, and his cap hit weighs heavy on the books. But bringing in AJ? This is a player who, despite not lighting the league on fire with sack totals, shows relentless consistency and a gritty toughness that Detroit's pass rush desperately craves. His 6 sacks per season streak and decent pressure numbers may not dazzle, but for the Lions, this feels like a hidden gem, solid, underpaid, and ready to contribute in a meaningful way, all while freeing up millions in salary cap breathing room. Remember those gut-wrenching playoff near misses, the trips to the precipice that left us standing in doubt? Remember the defense that nearly roared in '57, a specter of glory echoing through the decades? This isn't merely a numbers game. This is the Lions' identity being rewritten, a raw hunger for respect and postseason glory finally taking shape. What if this trade doesn't just fill a hole, but ignites a chain reaction in Detroit's locker room chemistry? What if Epenesa's steady hands and ferocious edge pressure become the missing spark that propels this Lions squad into the fiercest playoff run since Barry Sanders dazzled the league? These what-ifs hang heavy as the snow starts falling on the Motor City, the kind of cold wind that whispers of change. And if this domino falls, bringing Epenesa to Detroit, it might just unleash the wildest, most electrifying Lions offseason in the history of this franchise. Could we be on the brink of a revolution that finally ends this long drought of doubt? The silence of the offseason is almost deafening now, but beneath it the roar is building, promising that when the whistle blows next fall, the Lions just might be ready to rewrite their legacy. If your chest is heaving like you just sprinted for the end zone and your voice is itching to erupt like the 12th man at Ford Field, pound that keyboard right now and tell me if you see this shaking the very foundations of the NFC North. Because what we're witnessing here isn't just another roster tweak. It's a declaration of war against the ghosts of seasons past. The rumble that began with AJ Epenesa's name on the lips of front office insiders has now surged into a tidal wave threatening to drown every rival in its path. Could the ripple from shipping DJ Reader back to Buffalo spark a locker room schism, pitting veteran stalwarts who lived through Caldwell's reign and the soul-crushing 0-16 crusade against daring newcomers itching to rewrite our DNA? Will Charles Harris and Julian Okwara, each hungry to prove their value, embrace Epenesa's unflashy consistency and 6-sack per season grind? Or will they bristle at the idea of a new enforcer stealing snaps and headlines? Picture the scene. Behind closed doors, coaches redrawing blitz packages on whiteboards, players swapping war stories about what it took to survive. October nights when the scoreboard felt more like a courtroom bench than a battlefield marker. Remember how Megatron's presence once electrified our offense, only to see defenses zero in on him and leave us stranded on the sideline of playoff dreams? Think of the paralysis that gripped us in those wild card losses, watching the seconds tick away in silence as another season bled out without a glorious final chapter. Now imagine a spine of front seven stalwarts so lethal that quarterback starts sweating before the snap, turning routine 3rd and 5 into high-wire tightropes. What if Epenesa's relentless motor and gap-shattering power become the catalyst for a domino effect, fueling a pass rush that rockets Detroit into the league's top 5 in sacks and forces turnovers that flip the narrative from always the bridesmaid to championship contender? The thought alone sends shivers through the bones of Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins as they stare down a unified Lions front that refuses to concede an inch. And picture the fans, the faithful who endured the Caldwell-era's gut punches, the believers who held season tickets through the 0-16 nightmare, now rising as one under the glow of the stadium lights. An avalanche of silver and blue so thunderous it rattles the very steel girders of Ford Field. Could this be the moment when Detroit's roar transforms from a desperate plea into a war cry that echoes across Lake Michigan and into the heart of Green Bay's Lambeau faithful? Might we finally snatch victory from the jaws of history's cruelest punchlines, the way Barry Sanders shattered tackles and expectations back in the day, reminding us that even the underdog can define greatness? But every seismic shift carries risks. What if Epenesa's clutch 3rd down pressures and double-digit quarterback knockdowns suddenly expose holes in the secondary, forcing rookies and journeymen alike to scramble for cover, leaving gaps that opponents exploit to breathe life into their own title hopes? What if the weight of expectation crushes even this battle-hardened professional, turning Epenesa from a heralded savior into another cautionary tale in Detroit's long ledger of what could have been? These questions hang heavy in the bitter Michigan air, swirling like the November winds that herald the most brutal of fights on the gridiron. Yet I can't ignore the promise etched in every scouting report, in every clandestine phone call between GM Brad Holmes and defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn, a vision of a defense reborn, one that combines the disciplined aggression of 57's championship squad with the modern finesse needed to dominate today's pass-happy league. Close your eyes and see the slow-motion replay. Epenesa bull rushing a tackle at the snap, twisting him to the turf, eyeballing the quarterback as if to say, "Not in my house," then peeling off to chase down a scrambling back until the whistle blows. That image alone could set the tone for a season where Detroit's identity shifts from lovable underdogs to merciless contenders. So I ask you, Lions Nation, will you stand shoulder to shoulder, hearts pounding in unison, ready to witness this metamorphosis unfold? Will you scream your lungs raw as Epenesa barrels through the line and transforms our defense into a brick wall that no offense can breach? Or will you brace yourselves for the chaos that comes when expectations collide with reality, knowing that this gamble could define our legacy for a generation? The snow is coming, the season is nearly here, and the storm clouds of change are gathering over Motor City. The only question left is this: when the whistle blows and the carnage begins, will you answer the call with everything you've got, letting Detroit's roar be the axe that cracks the league's foundation? Or will you watch from the sidelines as the moment slips through our fingers once more? The time for whispers is over now. The roar must rise.